All right. So, another big chapter today. Everyone can hear me, right? Yeah, everyone can hear me? All right, so let's get some stuff out of the way. First of all, number one. Oh, wait. Number one. Let me just confirm this is the case. I believe that we have some new emojis. Everyone spam the new emojis in chat. We've got some new emojis. Start spamming the new emojis. We've got more to work with now. That's right. We've got Morj with the red eyes. How do I feel about the background color with those red eye things? I don't know if the red eye ones need a background color. How do you guys feel about the background color on the red eye things? Huh? We also have some supers to catch up on from last time, so we'll go through those real quick. Yeah, definitely. Wait, we got one super from today as well. Hold up. Yeah, go off. Try the new emojis. Some good new emojis. All right, Mr. Talk About It is saying, don't want to keep harping back to Wano, but it has made me salty about One Piece. That being said, these last few chapters are refreshing and good. This is a character arc. He said, so I remain cautiously optimistic. This is a character arc. Blazing Blue! Welcome. Thank you for joining as a member. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, anybody who wants to try out the new emojis, you can join as a member, as Blazing Blue just did. So here's the thing. Mr. Talk About It, for anyone who's watched the latest streams, there's been a bit of a character arc here, because I think like 1059 came out, and Mr. Talk About It was like, not that good. And then like 1060 came out, and he was like, it was good. And 1061 came out, and he was like, you know what? I'm still salty about Wano, but I'm cautiously optimistic about the future. That's a character arc. It just took like 3 back-to-back great chapters for for some people to be swayed back over. Here's what I'm actually working on right now. Right now, I'm working on the Wano video. JK Kane says, are you surprised Vegapunk is a female at all? Yeah, I think everybody was surprised Vegapunk's a girl, but it's not like a crazy surprise, if that makes sense. It's kind of just like, because we had such a limited idea of who Vegapunk was in the first place. I think Kuma had said back in the day that like Vegapunk's a guy, like Vegapunk's the world's smartest man or some shit. So I think that was the only reason. I think most of us assumed that Vegapunk was a guy because of that. I might be wrong about that. But yeah. The JM Lou 11 says, Mr. Morg, what was that Momo theory of yours? Momo theory was basically, I thought that this was before we understood the actual setup of Wano, right? Before we understood that Wano is actually like a mountain, but the rest of Wano is underwater, right? So this is before we understood that. So this is back when we just thought Wano is just an island, right? An island on a raised cliff or something along those lines, right? So I thought that there might be a point where the mountain is crumbling that they're on or something, and Momonosuke actually in dragon form has to hold it and like carry it back down to the surface, and that would be what opening the borders involves to a degree, right? The island of Wano basically having to return to surface level. This was, again, before we actually understood. So I know it sounds weird now, but that's why I'm sharing it now. This was before we understood. So I thought that Momonosuke would at one point literally have to carry Wano on his back, which I thought would be cool. And I thought that the bad weather around Wano, so the two factors that were really bad for Wano initially were the bad weather and the fact that it was on a raised surface, right? So I thought Momonosuke might be the answer to both of those things, because as a dragon, maybe he could change the weather to make it, nice and peachy again, and then maybe actually lower the mainland of Wano back down to the sea on his back at a crucial moment or something. I thought that would be interesting. That was a random theory that no longer holds weight. Sheriff Laffy says, hello Morj, might be my favorite chapter since Wano ended. This one, it feels like pure One Piece with all the new things we can discover and learn. Yeah, it is you know what, I will say this, what was really, really cool about this chapter is that at this point in time, there are so few locations in the One Piece world that would have been exciting to come across, because we kind of want to get to, we want to get to Elbaf, we want to get to Laugh-Tale, we want to get to, like something like Lodestar Island even would be really, really good. People were throwing around the idea of Sphinx Island or something like that, and that just wasn't, that would have felt like a bit too much of a halt to interesting events, I suppose, especially with all the interesting outside world stuff happening. But Dr. Vegapunk, who had that on their, well, some people I think may have guessed Dr. Vegapunk. Maybe some people were guessing, but Dr. Vegapunk, that is one of the few pleasant surprise, like, islands that I think none of us really, really had on our radar, but that's what makes it such a welcome surprise. You know what I mean? Ostinger says, did you notice the Punk 02 on Vegapunk's suit? Yeah, I've seen some people saying that maybe this is like a body clone of Vegapunk or something like that because the Punk 02 thing. Sheriff Laffy says, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Prince Groose and 2 of the background sword members are from Beija's cover story, He Defeats Goatee. He defeats Goatee? Oh, damn. This guy's big news. But no, I did not notice. Banort says, if Vegapunk switched bodies to avoid death and this new body is a female body, does that mean that she is trans/gender fluid? I guess so. I don't know the... Banort, shouldn't you be... Aren't you the expert on that? Right? Aren't you the expert on that? From my perspective, I guess yes. But I think that's your call. Gun Varel says, Vegapunk's design is bad. In my... What is this? What does that sound? How did that sound happen? In my opinion, Vegapunk's design is bad. In no way does it reflect the lifestyle of an old geek super scientist with 200 IQ. Why is she just a standard hot chick? I don't know. Like, lots of One Piece designs are not what you expect, right? Tom says, world government better replace Seraphim with the sharks, LMAO. Yeah, the sharks are pretty good. Mr. S says, hey Morj, long time no see. Talk to us about the shoulder. Also, can you flex your arms for us? No, that's weird. Don't ask me about my shoulder. Carlos Echeverria says, will this be Frankie's arc or a quick side trip? Imagine if Frankie gets an arc, but Zoro didn't get Wano. I don't know if this is Frankie's arc, but we could get some good stuff out of for Frankie here. I've stopped being like, oh, expecting an arc for X character or whatever. Like, I think Elbaf will be very Usopp-centric, but it seems like only Sanji really got an arc, right? Because Wano, it was set up for so much stuff for Zoro, but it just didn't. Sheriff Laffy says, also the Straw Hat Smoker agenda begins. Yes, I have dropped the Smoker for Straw Hat agenda pretty much, but now that we're here, I'm still going to be thinking about it and might start talking about it again. Gustavo Ramos says, the real Vegapunk is remote controlling waifu bot Vegapunk that showed up. Says on our chest she's number 2 droid. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a possibility. Straw Hat Chaco says, you think Frankie going to get up in Vegapunk's cheeks? No. Halioth05 says, congratulations on the baby, late Mr. Mank. Maybe next year we can get you a wig for that hairline. For now, have $5. Happy birthday. I have good hair. You guys are jealous. Beard Sullivan says, Morj, what would Frankie do if the Straw Hats went to a restaurant and asked for Coke, but they said, is Pepsi okay? Frankie would probably go berserk, cause a lot of damage in there. JK Kane says, are we going to get a Frankie mech upgrade this arc? A Frankie mech upgrade. Yeah, maybe. I would like to see something like that. Definitely. It would actually be the perfect place for it to happen. Like, I don't 100%... Like, I just don't know if we're going to get anything, like, Frankie-centric or anything like that, you know? But it would be nice if we got something. John Ross says, Vegapunk talking about not being able to fully take away the instincts of the shark she robofied, maybe a Chekhov's gun for Kuma regarding regaining sentience. That is a great point. Everybody, hats off to John Ross. That's a great idea. Great point. Straw Hat Chaco says, where does Vegapunk land on your waifu tier list? I don't have one because I'm a normal person. But if I hypothetically did, she'd probably be a little high. Let's wait and see. Because you know what? Yamato ranked really high for me the moment she was introduced. And then she basically did everything to ruin that over the course of the rest of the arc. Like, again, people really don't understand. I was very excited for Yamato initially. All the dislike I have for Yamato is highly earned over the course of the entire arc. Promise, it's highly earned. Let's see. Okay. Sheriff Laffy says, immediate thoughts on Doll and Sword. Doll seems cool. Cool character design. Doll seems like a cool character design. Sword, I don't know. It's interesting that now they're just like saying, you know, this person's, like, everybody's in Sword nowadays. Like, anybody you see here, there is in Sword. So it's like, okay. You know, like, everybody's in Sword at this point. It's like, okay. If everyone's in Sword. If everyone's in Sword, then who's not in Sword at this point, you know? Let me rattle off some Miss Supers from last time. Mr. Bushido said, Boa Clone gets slow, fruit, Luffy confused powers. Don't know what that means. Masuyo G says, who's y'all favorite rapper or top 3 artists? The Braga and King aren't here anymore. Felix C says, Morj looking majestic right now, very polite. Mr. Talk About It says, SpongeBob versus Luffy, who will win? Ridley Crate 187 says Saba's just the new Kaido. Every attempt made on this man's life has failed spectacularly. They just nuke him and he's probably still alive. Flame Emperor says Team Shanks. Okay, all right. Change the chat color to black. Oh fuck. Yeah, you're right. Let me change the chat color to black. It was white for the other stream. Hold on. Watch me do this on the fly. I've become very, very, very tech literate recently. Did I tell you guys I built my own computer? Huh? I built my own... You guys were talking about, oh, Morj, get another monitor for so long. Get another monitor, get another monitor. Well, I got another monitor. I built it from scratch. Look at this. This is another... You guys could see this? Is this visible? Is this visible? Yeah. This is the other monitor. It exists. I can look on chat here. Right now it's blank. I don't have anything up there, but I could if I wanted to. And I made it myself. So think about that. Not a lot of people. How many of you have built your own PCs, huh? How many of you have built your own PCs? I want to see a show of hands. I feel like none of you have built your own PC. I had to assemble all of this. There's a lot of steps actually. So there's the monitor part, which is the screen. Fancy way of saying screen. So the monitor, then there's a stand that it kind of slots into. So I had to take the screen part and slot it into the stand. And then there was this wire, HDMI type thing, and I connected the two. And yeah, I set up the whole thing in probably about like 15 minutes. So yeah. Banhort says, theory, what if the first Holy Knights were the original 20 kings who were called upon by God, Imu, on a holy crusade against the evil ancient kingdom? Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see. The Holy Knights, I'm not gonna like bet too much on, because you know. No, there's no way all of you guys built your own PCs. Come on now. There's no way all of you guys built your own PCs. Come on now. Come on now. That stuff's not easy. I mean, I was able to get it down, but like, you guys did not build it. Come on now. Come on now. You guys just want to one-up me. And you guys are just upset that you can't make fun of me for being bad at technology anymore. Now that I've built my own PC. Hold on. Let me show you guys something. Alright. Yeah, this... You see this? You remember in Iron Man when Iron Man 1, the good one, when he's like having to basically do that stuff in that cave? You know, he's building that suit, the suit number 1. That was basically me. And this is basically me when I finished building it. This. I did it. Alternatively, I could be Iron Man 1 Indian guy. I could be the Indian guy that also helped. You remember there was an Indian guy in the cave? What happened to him? Why doesn't he show up on Google? Did they erase him from history? Tony Stark didn't build it by himself. There was this... Yeah, there we go. Alternatively, I could be this Indian guy that helped Tony Stark make it. I feel like that's more fitting for me, just because of the race thing. But either way, I'm one of these two. So yeah, from now on, you know... I just want a little bit more acknowledgement of my technological capabilities. Bennett Rogers says, Morj, what will happen? What a question. What a question. Let me think. So right now with this chapter, because a lot happened this chapter, right? With this chapter, I feel like here's the frustrating thing that's going to be the case, okay? So to me, Oda set us up with the characters that know everything, all right? Between Bonnie and Vegapunk, we could not ask for a pair of characters. I mean, I guess we could. But these are a pair of characters that are pretty high up there in terms of combinations of characters you want to learn more about the state of the world and about what shit is going on, right? In terms of spilling secrets about the way things are, these are the two characters that are pretty high up on the list, right? We want Dr. Vegapunk for sure, and Jewelry Bonnie. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Great combination, right? So we should, in theory, be set up for, I feel like we could easily be set up right now for an arc similar to Zoe, where we get a lot of lore and reveals dropped on us, but because it's unlikely that, like, even with an arc like Zoe, there was a little bit of a story there, right? So we had a little bit of a story, not necessarily a conflict, but just, a story. It took about 15 chapters or so since they arrived on Zoe to get to the part where they're getting all of the big reveals of, the road poneglyphs, the road to Laughdale, what's going on in Wano, stuff like that, right? I think with this, it might be something similar. We're going to get... I would love if the next couple chapters, Oda just dives right into it and starts telling us shit and having these characters spill their secrets. But I doubt that that's going to be the case. So I personally think that this could just be a mini arc, right? That's my guess right now. Mini arc, I think that's a pretty safe guess. Mini arc at the end of which we're going to get a lot of more information about the state of the world. Could be really cool. Mark Ross says Luffy could run into Helmeppo and learn about Kobe. Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. In theory, he could have learned about it just from the news, but he refused to hear. Sean Easton says, you built a monitor yourself? Nice. From scratch? Yep. Well, he says, nope. There's a documentary where an engineer tries to build a toaster from scratch. It lasted 5 minutes and caught on fire. Thanks, mass production. Lorge. What? I don't think Sean Easton understands what I did. Sheriff Lafitte says, what are you most excited to learn from Vegapunk? Hard to top the secret of devil fruits, but the Seraphim and Mads are both interesting too. The thing I'm most interested in learning about Vegapunk is honestly more so like about Vegapunk themselves. As in, it sounds as the, like, why... This is a weird question, but why are they so fucking smart? For the longest time, many of us have assumed that Vegapunk, there's something to... Many people assume that, okay, got knowledge from the Void Sentry. Some people thought Vegapunk's an alien, things like that. But if Vegapunk's really, like, the mystery surrounding Vegapunk, how much of the world is just littered with Vegapunk stuff, right? Like, forget even Caesar and Judge and the influence Vegapunk had on them and everything like that. But even just going back to the random island that Frankie spent over the course of the time skip, that was Vegapunk's, hometown pretty much, right? And that whole super advanced island, that was just like some shit Vegapunk did for shits and giggles before she went on to do bigger and better things, right? So Vegapunk, to me, the biggest thing is I want to learn more about Vegapunk herself, if that makes sense. Because that's a character that we've all been very, very interested in for some time. Christian McCurdy says, that Indian guy is bald. Coincidence? I think not. Enough. Get out of here, Christian. Enough. Sheriff Lafitte says, do you think that Jinbei's presence takes away from Nami and Zoro as he takes over some navigating duties and some vice captain duties? Do I think Jinbei's presence takes away from Nami and Zoro? I've always felt that every new crew member that we've gotten for a while, I've like, Jinbei I especially had problems with when he first joined because I felt like he right away takes away from other characters, right? Like, Robin used to be the character that would share us information with us about the world. Now Jinbei can do some of that as well. Nami used to be kind of like one of the main sources of advice for Luffy, as was Zoro, and now Jinbei does that as well, right? Like, there's certain things that Jinbei... I just never felt like Jinbei adds much to the crew in terms of their dynamic, and I feel like, if anything, he takes away small aspects of characters. Like, I used to like the fact that Sanji was the only character that was really effective underwater, but now Jinbei obviously, like, blows him out of the water in that category. But I've grown used to Jinbei. I don't even think about it like that anymore, really. I mean, you brought it up, so I'm talking about it, but in general, I don't really mind Jinbei at this point. I'm like, this is what it is. Alicia Cullen says, it seems like Bonnie's been to Egghead before. Do you think she played a role in the Kuma experiments, or she just wants to figure out how to fix him? I don't think she played a role in the Kuma experiments. I think she does want to figure out how to fix him, and heading to that island is one of the keys to doing so. Sean Easton says, haven't built a PC, but just got a job using my degree. We'll try to donate more, but props for learning some tech. We're both growing up. Thanks, Sean. You don't gotta. We're both growing up. Yeah, I guess so. Benhort says, also, holy shit, Morj remembers I'm trans? Thanks. Yeah, well, Benhort, when some people come showing up in chat, like, talking about certain things that are basically, like, more touchy than I normally... Like, not to say that there's anything, like, that should even be touchy about that subject, you know? But, like, you made me... I think you gave me a few comments at some point that made me think a little bit. So, then I'm naturally going to remember you, you know? Snap says, Helmeppo next Straw Hat? No. Smoker. Tom says, could there be throwbacks to Little Garden, past and future islands? Also, how long until you think Luffy, Chopper, and Jinbei get back to the crew? I think the reunion could be relatively quick. Past and future islands. That's interesting. I mean, we are likely heading to Elbap. It's just that, like, with Little Garden, I never felt like the fact that it's out of the past was that important to the story. It was just more so, okay, cool setting with dinosaurs and shit, right? Like, the idea of everything being really big. Therefore, it happened to be an island out of the past, right? So that you could get dinosaurs and big giants and stuff, cutting dinosaurs up and stuff. But I don't know if that's, like, important to the story, whereas I think that this being a future island is very important to the story. Harit Sandika Nugroho, what a cool name. Is there a chance that Vegapunk is just a title? I don't think so. I don't think so, because, like, it sounds as though there's one Dr. Vegapunk, right? Abyssal Leviathan says, do you still think Smoker joins the Straw Hats this arc? No, I stopped thinking about Smoker joining the Straw Hats, because I felt like I thought that Smoker would make his way over to Wano. For the longest time, I thought that Marines would be making their way over to Wano. Once that was clear that was not going to happen, I stopped thinking, like, oh, there'll be opportunities for Smoker to really have more of a role in the story that's significant that would lead to him being a Straw Hat. But this is kind of like a pleasant little twist that we're getting to Vegapunk Island, where Smoker likely is we know Smoker is basically here, right? Like, right next door or whatever. So now I'm like, okay, that's interesting. We're going to get to see more Smoker. Maybe. Green Princess, so, like, it's like breathing life back into the idea that it kind of just stopped pushing. Green Princess says, Morj, how do you feel about Vegapunk being Uta? If Vegapunk's Uta, why did she start a singing career? Why did that end up happening? Okay, wait. Let me quickly catch up on other supers from last time. A lot of this is random stuff, though. Kakashi Snitch 9 says, you see the Chainsaw Man trailer, Mork? Yeah, I thought the Chainsaw Man trailer looks... I'm excited for Chainsaw Man, for sure. I'm very excited for Chainsaw Man. I think it, like, the anime, it's so hard to explain because the anime looks really, really phenomenal. It's just that the way that Chainsaw Man's drawn and paneled, I don't know if the anime is going to capture that. I feel like the anime is probably going to be closer to its own thing. I think it's very, very hard to recreate how the Chainsaw Man manga kind of is, how panels flow in that, and how scenes are kind of directed in that. But maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Snap says, Helmeppo next Momonosuke then? I don't think Helmeppo's going to be that important in the long run. Gestrix says, bro, someone that smart would never have big milkers or even be in shape. Come on, it's One Piece. Come on, like, what do we want to say here? Like, it's One Piece. It's anything can happen. LED Prince says, I think that besides answering the questions around Vegapunk and Kuma, Oda will also answer the questions about Sword in this arc. Yes, questions about Sword in this arc. I think that, like, with the number of Sword characters that just popped up for no reason, I think that Sword is going to be pretty big for this arc. Aespa Comeback says, Bonnie making me act up. Now I know how Yamato fans feel. She needs to join the crew. Right away. John Ross says, Vegapunk is Uta's mom. All right, guys, we all need to stop for a second. Everybody like the stream. We only have 274 likes. Let's get the likes to at least... what's a reasonable number? Because I always say something unreasonable. 700? Let's get the likes to at least 700. That's about right. DKN says, someone on Twitter said this isn't Vegapunk because of the Punk O2 on her clothes and the fact that she was speaking in an old-timer speech. Thoughts? So the Punk, like, I think it's entirely possible this is like a body of, like a cyber body of Vegapunk or something like that. I mean, obviously it's Vegapunk, so if any character you would expect to be using some robot bodies or something, it would be Vegapunk. But that being said, I don't know, because it's like, I'm perfectly, like, I'm kind of just assuming, I'm taking it at face value at the moment, and then if there's a twist later down the line, then there's a twist, basically. But at the moment, I'm just like, okay, this is Vegapunk, Vegapunk's this hot girl, that's basically it. Caleb Brown says, it's crazy that Caribou knows about some of the most important things in the story. If he follows the Straw Hats to Egghead, he'll learn about the Devil Fruits and Vegapunk. Caribou knows about some of the most important things in the story. If he follows the Straw Hats to Egghead, he'll learn about the Devil Fruits and Vegapunk. Yeah, Caribou's just gonna keep picking up intel for, I assume, Blackbeard for the near future, I guess. Sheriff Laffy, Sword being so prominent and Beehive being mentioned might shift some focus onto Aokiji now. Oh, and we're on an ice island. I wonder if that matters. Probably not. But, yeah, it's funny. One Piece has so many characters that you just forget that some people are just wandering around, like Aokiji. Wait, Babtron's back? I miss Babtron. Does my Vegamami theory work now? Hashtag Babtots. I don't miss Babtron. Babtron was dumb. But I do miss hashtag Babtots. Blazing Blue says, you think it's possible Ivankov, or at least their fruit, is involved in Vega's research? Could explain Vega's age and gender. Also, revolutionary connection. The Revolutionary Army has kept it kind of like on the down. Like, we haven't gotten any reveals from them yet, or real hints on like their connection to Vegapunk, their connection, like the Vegapunk Kuma Revolutionary Army triangle, if such a triangle exists, or if Kuma really is just, being held for experimenting. I think it's all I'll say is that I think it's really interesting that right now, that section of mystery in the story, right? The Kuma, Vegapunk, Bonnie, Revolutionary Army, like, we're getting a lot of focus on that section of the story, right? Like, why was Kuma made into a slave of the world government? Why was Vegapunk experimenting on him? Why did he get some degree of say in terms of what Vegapunk could program him to do, hence protecting the Straw Hat ship for 2 years, right? What is Bonnie's connection with Kuma? Bonnie's here to see Vegapunk. How does that play into the revolutionary armies and everything? Like, there's that little circle of mysteries that's been spinning around in the background for a bit. I'm really excited to see that filled out. Grizzly Adams says, Helmeppo is actually the realist, ready to march into an emperor's territory and unleash a weapon of mass destruction to get his boy back. Absolute ride or die. That's true. He's also probably just a little bit dumb and doesn't know the full scale of things. But I'm happy to see that Helmeppo and Kobe's friendship is legit. Isn't it so cute to go back to the beginning of the story and see, like, their initial dynamic, which was Helmeppo being, like, a piece of shit and, and, like, threatening to kill Kobe, right? That was what it was once, and now it's just like, well, now they're best friends. I don't know, it's fun. I like that dynamic a lot. Bastiano T says, Jinbei is a great support. If Zoro and Nami are the capo regimes or underbosses, depending on the situation, Jinbei is the consigliere, Sanji's the cook. Just gotta throw that in. Just make sure that Sanji does not have a place of status in this hypothetical mafia boss lineup. Babtron says, it's been long. School is hard. One Piece is good. Yep. School is hard. That's why I don't do it anymore. Trust My White Van says, why do you think Luffy and them were separated from the crew? What plot points will this lead to next? Also, love this chapter. Feels like a classic One Piece. Yep. Why do I think Luffy and them were separated from the crew? I think it's just... Let's see. I literally don't know why those three in particular were separated. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why Oda chooses some pairings of characters sometimes. Like, why was it Luffy, Chopper, Brook, Nami that went to go get Sanji? And why was it Zoro, Robin, Frankie, Usopp that were in Dressrosa? I mean, some stuff you can see, obviously, like, okay, clearly Usopp's storyline worked really, really well in Dressrosa, and there was a lot of setup for him there. It was like, I could see Frankie in Whole Cake Island. Fuck, I could see Robin in Whole Cake Island. I could see Zoro in Whole Cake Island. I could see Nami in Dressrosa. Like, whatever pairings Oda's doing. Maybe there's a bit of trying to give characters love that haven't gotten love in a bit, but like, I can't make out anything from the type of groupings that he did here, really. J.K. Kane says, Vegapunk is Kuma's ex-girlfriend and Bonnie's there to fight. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that theory. Mark Zicknown says, Yo, Morj, love how much weekly content you're blessing us with. Thank you, I appreciate that. Here's what we're looking at in the near future lineup, all right? So, for a long time, I've been talking about a Wano video. Initially I wanted to do 2 videos. A Wano full, analysis video, and then a Wano review of my thoughts. Then I started working on the projects, and now I think it's ridiculous that I even considered doing both of them. Okay? It's just gonna be one video. Mostly just my thoughts on Wano. I realized partway through that I don't care about doing a full-on, bit piece by piece Wano arc analysis, right? Because I don't, but a lot of that is because I don't think a lot of the themes and character stuff was done that well. Obviously some of it was. I think Momonosuke stuff for the most part was really good, for example. But I try and I just don't get as much enjoyment or whatever trying to justify how certain themes or whatever played out in that arc, at least compared to past arcs. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'll talk about themes, etc., and character stuff somewhat over the course of, I'll just make it all one video. It's all gonna be one video. I'm trying to get it out next week. It's a little bit ambitious, but we'll see what can be done. So don't be surprised if no video next Tuesday. That's because there'll be a bigger video coming out over the course of during this break week, you know. Snap says Helmepo turned from a bad guy to a cool dude. Yeah, he did. Murfan09 says Chopper and Luffy both have human fruits. Could be something to that. Chopper and Luffy both have human fruits. Could be something to that. Chopper and Luffy both have. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, both have human model. And Jinbei's not a human. I wonder if that matters. Matt Dakar says, how do you think Frankie's childhood lesson from Tom, a shipbuilder should never be ashamed of his works, you think will tie into Frankie's opinion of Vegapunk? He's currently using her old designs. It's crazy that, like, Frankie's, like, such an amazing shipwright and mechanic, etc., right? But then you've got Vegapunk, who's, like, a million light years ahead of all of these guys, like Frankie, Caesar, Judge, etc. Like, everything that we've seen is basically in the shadow of Vegapunk, right? I do think that a lot of lessons, at the very least, from Water 7 could come into play in the language of the course of the rest of this arc, for sure. For sure. Flame Emperor says, post Wano is feeling like a OG One Piece again. Even the panels are less cramped. Looking forward to the future. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think one thing that the panels are less cramped. How do I say this? Okay, so I definitely enjoyed this chapter, but I've come to, like, reading this chapter, I've just come to terms with something, which is that, like, especially if you read this chapter and you compare to chapters back when there were, like, 5 crewmates or something like that, the way Oda moves characters around, like, scenes in general are just naturally going to be more montagey, if that makes sense. Okay, because there's just too many characters and too much action happening, right? So a lot of it's going to happen in, like, you just see, like, bits and pieces of characters kind of, like, doing stuff. Like, Oda just kind of hits the important points, you know what I mean? Like, the pacing and the direction of most scenes is never going to go back to what it once was, pre-time skip, etc. I've also been reminded to... Hold on. There's something very, very important. If you guys enjoy the streams, if you like streams, then make sure that you go to the #1 channel for stream highlights. Morj Unleashed, being pinned at the top of this channel. Guys, go check out Morj Unleashed. We had a great... honestly, like, one of my favorite streams just happened, which was me, Brago, and King of Lightning power scaling. It got pretty hectic. The highlights from that stream are basically being... we've already got one of the highlights out. There'll be, I assume, another one coming out on Saturday. Go check this stuff out on Morj Unleashed. Pretty good stuff. Other things are... Guys, consider joining as a member if you want access to all the nice emojis and badges and stuff like that you're seeing in the chat. You can join as a member. Everybody that joins as a member, obviously, you get access to all that stuff, but people who join on the Yonko tier are going to start getting access to exclusive things, such as basically the patron podcast that comes out every Friday with all my extended thoughts on recent chapters and recent videos. So extra content there. And then on top of that, I think I've just started basically doing small things for members, which is like polls on future videos. So that's available to all members. I did that for this week's video. Polls on future videos, extended segments that are cut from screens and stuff like that. So similarly, like from the Brago King of Lightning stream, etc., there's a small segment that I've saved just for members. Things like that. So consider joining and supporting. Basically, if you like coming to the streams, if you want to help support me do streams, etc., please consider being a member. Arvin, so Sivasalam says, are you giving up on Wano just like Oda gave up? I mean, like, the video, it's a big video, basically. Like, I'm having to pare it down a lot just to make it more reasonable, but I also want to do it justice, so we'll see what it's like. Blazing Blue says, Wano report comeback for Wano vid, Ohara collab. Ohara's in the United States. Let me see if I can run into him somehow. I don't know where he's at. Cole says, I think Vegapunk should, 1, never side with the Straw Hats, 2, be treated more as a hazard/obstacle than enemy. Spy movie type mini arc, maybe. I just don't know if Vegapunk is going to be a bad guy. I really, really don't know. I'm actually curious. Let's throw out a poll. I think Vegapunk being a girl, or at least appearing like a girl, is at least going to sway more people to be like, oh, she's not going to be bad or whatever. Good or bad. And I'm not going to include any middle option. You just got to pick one. Good or bad. All right. There's also the option of just misguided, which I didn't throw in the poll. Misguided in that she just thinks that she's doing the right thing by obeying the world government. Some of her dialogue, like the little dialogue she got here, did make it sound a little bit like that could be a possibility. People think good. Wow. What a surprise. All right. Okay, 65% good. Still majority. SJ Naka 101 says, we did not get a Vegapunk title panel. It is not him. Yeah, that is actually very possible. That is very possible. Very, very possible. Bill says Bonnie for Nakamashi would fit right in. I guess. Yeah, she could. Like, I think Bonnie for Nakama is definitely a possibility. Would be cool. Noble's Own says, I think the Vegapunk we met is either the second sentient cyborg clone built by the original Vegapunk, kind of like what that one episode of Rick and Morty, or how Yamato is an organic flaw / clone of Odin. You think Yamato's a clone of Odin? That'd be so cool. That'd make Yamato a million times cooler. If she's actually a clone of Odin, and that's why she's so obsessed with him. Yeah, I mean, the Vegapunk being a clone theory that's been being thrown around a little bit. Guys, we can get to 700. We're at 636. Let's just get a few more likes in there. I don't know why I want us to hit 700. It just feels right. Ben Strasberg says, hey, thank you for your year's content. Yeah, for sure. What do you think about this Vegapunk being a remote cyborg based on the antenna and the Punk O2 on her chest? All right, it sounds like everybody wants to talk about that. I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's definitely very possible. I think it's definitely very possible. We know that Oda sometimes likes to fuck with character introductions for fun, like introduce Jack as just his mammoth form and stuff like that. I guess that's not really the same thing. No, character introductions are usually pretty straightforward in terms of like what you see is what you get. Can we think of another example maybe? I don't know. I feel like sometimes Oda's done something like that I can't recall. But at the very... Oh, wow, we jumped up. 724. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very possible. The O2 thing... Okay, here's one of the bigger things, all right? Let me pull this up. All right? Let's get technical with it, all right? Let's stop speculations, okay? Okay? You guys can see my screen? Oh, shit. I need to find a chat color that is not white and not black. Because now the chat is just hidden. But I don't care that much. This is temporary. Watch this. 485. This is the chapter where this shit happens, okay? I'm so good at finding these chapters, guys. All right. Fuck. Why is this mouse not working? Okay. Yeah, so here's the thing. The person developing the projects is the government's genius scholar, Dr. Vegapunk. He is the most brilliant man in the world. It is said that his scientific ability, blah, 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 blah. So what do we think of that? I mean, like, Oda could easily have retconned that and been like, okay, there's two things here, right? One, Oda not thinking super far ahead, so later down the line he's like, okay, Vegapunk's a girl. That's not the craziest thing we've seen. I mean, this far back, we still had, like, Kaido's design looking like, Kaido's design was, like, some weird shit, right? It was like, what was Kaido's design? Right around here, Kaido's design was still, this was Kaido back at this point in time, right? So things change, right? Gender swapping is a bit more of a change than just changing, like, their straightforward designs, but you know what I'm saying, right? So Oda may not have landed on, do I want a boy Vegapunk, girl Vegapunk, like, maybe girl Vegapunk was something he came up with down the line, right? Oda also has a daughter. Maybe at some point his daughter, he was like, I want my daughter to have a good female role model. You know what? Best scientist in the world? Girl. Random stuff like that, right? So, that's a possibility. Other possibility is that I don't really know how gender pronouns and shit work in Japan. So maybe, in fact, this is supposed to be something in Japanese. This is like an ambiguous statement. And in English translations, they just change it to, he's the most brilliant man, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't know Japanese. I'm not one of those that learn the, you know, the actual language and stuff and make theories and stuff based off of that. That's just not me. Okay? Last possibility is obviously this is just a robot form, right? Not the real Vegapunk. That's also a possibility, obviously. Robot form, not real Vegapunk, just because somebody mentioned we didn't get a title box and everything like that. Title boxes usually do matter somewhat with these things. I would expect a title box with Vegapunk. So those are the three little alternatives. I mean, three little bits of reasoning that I'm kind of seeing, I guess. All right, let's take a look here. Rei Uchiha says, what if Vegapunk ate an intelligence-based devil fruit, and that is why he is ahead of the rest of the world? Yeah, that's an interesting idea. An interesting idea for sure. Professor Clover says, what if Punk O2 is Vegapunk's daughter, who studied under him and is now Dr. Vegapunk Jr.? Oda had us guessing cyborg/robot, but maybe the answers are simple. Yeah, that's a cool little idea. Bato Baloo says, Vegapunk is used Wait, no, that's not how I pronounce your name. Batu Balu. Batu. I think you told me it's something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm confusing you. Vegapunk is using washi in the Ra, which is I pronoun exclusively used by old man in Japan. This is definitely a clone/body host of 301. Oh, there we go. That's an interesting point. Okay, so more support piling up for Vegapunk potentially being a dude and that being an android. Why does he have a girl android running around? Hold on. If that is the case, right? Let's... Okay, I think I cracked something here. Hold on. Let's put the pieces together, okay? I think I cracked something here. All right? Stay with me. So, here's what we're looking at, right? Yeah. All right. Here's what we're looking at. You guys can see me? So, here are the pieces that we know, right? The pieces that we know are... 1, Oda once told us that Vegapunk's a dude. He's the most brilliant man in the world. It said that his scientific ability, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Kuma would know because Kuma was experimented on by this man for a long time. I'm sure Kuma looked up at one point and was like, okay, it's a dude. I'm sure Kuma noticed this. He notices these sort of things, right? So I would trust Kuma's opinion on this, right? Now, maybe Oda retconned things, changed his mind, made it a girl later. But initially, we're told it's a man, okay? Now, somebody is telling me, Batobalu is telling me, that according to the Japanese texts and stuff like that, right, the way that that she's talking here is in the manner of an old man, actually, like something washi, something Japanesey that was explained to me. Okay, so adds to the idea that maybe it's a dude using a robot, right? And finally, we've got this O2 thing, right? So maybe it's a body double, right? So all these pieces together, there's a solid possibility that Vegapunk is, in fact, an old man, right? Who has created a body clone of, a hot young girl. Now, you might be asking, why would Vegapunk do such a thing? Well, because Vegapunk is an old man that lives by himself on this island, Egghead Island. He's also a giant fucking nerd, the biggest nerd in the planet, right? So he's not exactly... I'm sure he's not exactly doing great for himself isolated on this island. Now, if you're the world's smartest dude and you're like 1,000,000 years old and you can create anything, right? And you're by yourself on this island, what's Vegapunk gonna do? Vegapunk is fucking... There is no way Vegapunk did not just build himself a fuck robot, all right? Vegapunk is 100% this horny old dude that built himself a fuck robot. And that's what he has running around, basically dressed up as, Vegapunk. And he uses her to talk and stuff like that. This is his sex robot. That is, I think I cracked it. I want to actually put a theory out on that now. Vegapunk is actually not just an old dude. He is one of the horniest, most perverted old dudes in all of One Piece. A series filled with horny old dudes. But he went by far the furthest in building himself a sex robot. The most advanced sex robot in the world, right? I think I legitimately cracked it. He is 100% fucking this robot. There's no way he isn't. All right. Case solved. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If it is established, someone clip that, post it on Twitter or something like that. If it is established that this robot is, in fact, not the real Vegapunk, but like some clone or something that he has running around, okay? Then the official headcanon, it's not even the official headcanon, it's practically guaranteed. Why did Oda make a robot of, like, this isn't like a battle robot, right? This is just a hot young woman, right? Why would he make this on his lonely island? It's basically guaranteed. Oda just told us that Vegapunk's the... I hope that this Vegapunk better actually be that girl, because if Vegapunk is actually just an old dude and he built that robot, then he is by far the horniest motherfucker in One Piece. If Sanji's gonna ask if he could buy it, it's gonna, I don't know. Jacob Grout, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Jacob Grout just said 100% coming in with the $100. I appreciate it. That was a pretty good solve, though, I must say. So I won't say it's not warranted. Professor Clover says, what if Punk O2 is Vegapunk's daughter? Then that would make my whole previous theory really weird, wouldn't it? Who studied under him and is now Vegapunk Jr. Oda has his guessing cyborg/robot, maybe the oh no, we covered this one. Banward says, you have bachelor's in political science, right? Yes, most useless fucking shit ever. I'm writing my thesis from this in upcoming academic year. Any tips? No tips. Sorry, Banward. I thought that whole thing was a... I don't know. It's just like it was kind of like, for me, it was like a just sort of like degree to do because I didn't want to do, because I wanted to be a lawyer, right, at that point in time. So I wasn't taking anything I was learning about political science seriously because it was just that political science happened to be the degree that was closest to what I wanted to actually do because there was no pre-law at the college that I went to, basically. So I never really cared about the workings of government and stuff like that. Yeah, I have no tips for your final thesis or anything. Caleb Brown says, would you be happier with Vega being good or bad? I think it'd be interesting if Vegapunk... I would like Vegapunk to be good, but I would like it to be some complication in there, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like maybe Vegapunk brainwashed by the world government or something like that. Vegapunk good, but maybe with their own motivations or something like that. You know. Spade says, do you think the robot shark disobeying Vegapunk could be foreshadowing the Seraphim going against the world government? Oh, that's an interesting idea because it's like, oh, they keep some of their own personality in there. Great ideas today. Spade, so Spade suggested Vegapunk, the shark, not Vegapunk's creations not going 100% according to their masters, right? So that played in, somebody mentioned earlier, Kuma himself rebelling or whatever, but the Seraphim potentially rebelling against the world government as well. That's a great idea. Slog Madorphin says Cracker's introduction. There we go. I knew there was some example. Cracker's introduction. Example of someone being shown to us that turns out to not be exactly what their appearance is. Flame Emperor says maybe Ivankov got involved. Yeah, maybe. Does Ivankov de-age? I don't think so. I don't think that's in her skill set, though. Lane XYZ says the fact that the translation explicitly states she talks old-timey makes me believe this is really Vegapunk and maybe he got Ivankov treatment. Yeah. Why? Why, though? Why get the Ivankov treatment? Well... that's, I guess, insulting to if you want to just get the, you know, if you want to transition or whatever. So, yeah, maybe Vegapunk just wanted to. Prince Frederick says, I like Bonnie as a character. Do you? Also, she hot. Yeah, I'm with you 100% for that entire statement. I like Bonnie. Bonnie's cool. Ethan says, Morgs. Haven't heard that one. Did Caribou fall off the ship in the attack? I don't know. I think he's probably fine, though. I think Caribou's probably fine. Green Princess says, since the Vegapunk is number 2, I think it's the daughter, and that's why she calls herself mediocre, because she's comparing herself to him. I thought she's calling herself mediocre just because she doesn't consider herself that smart. It's just that, like, she's so much smarter than everybody else that she doesn't even think about it. JK Kane says, I went to the bathroom and came back to this. Yeah, this is theory crafting. This is how it works. Prince Frederick says, will we ever do a Morj in time? What does that mean? What does that mean? We can do a Morj in time right now. What does that mean? Mr. Shui says, Hogback still got Vegapunk beat. No. Hogback is so low in the hierarchy of... You know what? Hogback's like best creation that he was really, really proud of was like... It was literally like Absalom or some shit. I mean, I guess technically Ors... But, like, how much of that was Hogback and how much of that was just, like, finding ores and unfreezing him? Hogback's, like, pinnacle of creation was, I think it was literally Absalom. So, there's a bit of a gap here, in my opinion. Sophelia Majesting says, Dr. Vegapunk is their surname. Vice Admiral Garb for reference. Okay. Yeah, I see. Flame Emperor says, maybe he put his brain into a robot / another person, kind of like Frankenstein. That's possible. Maybe just transitioning bodies over and over again. Just whatever they want to be. I think, okay, so I'm noticing that the Red Eye Morj is pretty popular. I'm guessing I'm going to be seeing a lot of that from here on out. Is this what Morjan time is? It's Georgian time, says JK Kane. It's Vegapunk time. Poopy Coop says, you gotta do Bollywood dance, 1K plus likes last stream. No, that wasn't promised. I don't recall that. Make Brago and King do Bollywood dance. Go track them down. They're supposed to be doing this as well. Cuffs? Okay, so I'm curious. Let's just get the vote here right now, because this seems like the big question, right? Is that Vegapunk or a body double? No, let's say, is that Vegapunk? I'm going to say, is that Vegapunk's real body? And you all interpret that however you want. Yes, no. Yeah, you all just interpret this however you think. Leo Rector says, you think Vegapunk is top 5 strongest in the verse? No, I don't think Vegapunk is strong. I mean, well, it depends what you mean. Like, do you think that Vegapunk can make some mechs that are crazy strong? Okay, people are convinced that that's not Vegapunk. People are convinced that that's not Vegapunk. Okay, so everybody, we've got majority people saying no pretty resoundingly. So that's not Vegapunk's real body, according to most people. Okay, so in that case, do we think that, is that Vegapunk's brain in that body, or is his real body / brain somewhere else? His brain in that body, not his brain, not his body. And then we got one more poll after that. So, like, is it the Frankenstein? Like, did he take his big egghead brain and, like, put it in there? Or is his brain somewhere else? Not his brain, not his body. Okay, okay. Then last question. Why did Vegapunk make that hot girl android? All right. Why did Vegapunk make her? That is the final question. Because there's no way I look at it that I can really just, like, it just doesn't add up. There's no other reason. Enter a name. Thanks for joining. Yeah, right? It's just to fuck her. 38% of people, nearly 40% of people are saying that Vegapunk made that hot girl android for science reasons or some shit. What science reasons could possibly... What are the science reasons? I want to hear some answers. I want to see some reasons. Virgil Hawkins says it's what his late sister looks like. Don't say shit like that. That makes me look terrible. All right? Let's get some other reasons out there. All right? Opyama says to replace his daughter. All right, I'm not going to say you guys are pushing it towards incest, but it's making my theory look really, really weird. His dead daughter or something, says Shiro. Fuck. Okay. It's... All right. Maybe not. All right. Maybe it is perfectly wholesome. John Ross says, Vegapunk in chapter 1072. I turned myself into Pickle Luffy. If Vegapunk just turns out to be like Rick from Rick and Morty. Leo Rector says, instead of Akainu, is Lucci a good matchup for Sabo? I mean, I think so, but a lot of people think that it's got to be against Akainu or something like that. I don't think that we're going to see Sabo versus... AJK saying Vegapunk is Luffy's mother. That's an interesting idea, but I don't personally think that that's right, but be cool. The simple reason I don't think Vegapunk could be Luffy's mother is because Vegapunk's like the smartest person in the world, and Luffy's probably the dumbest person in the world. So I just think that there's like literally no genetic similarity. You know what I mean? Like with Luffy and Dragon, we see so much genetic similarity, right? Like Ivankov's even talking about like how they really come across as similar. But like Luffy and Vegapunk, it'd be like it'd be like something went drastically wrong there, right? Allegro Rubato says Vegapunk is good, but is also actually from 500 years in the future and will work for the government then, when the world government is actually good. Working for evil world government is a misunderstanding / paradox. If she's actually from the future, that'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely crazy. SJ Naka 101 says Bonnie de-age Bonnie plus Ivankov. Bonnie de-ages Bonnie plus Ivankov. You're saying that Bonnie and Ivankov together both changed Vegapunk's appearance or something like that? Hawkeye Dragon says Caribou's controversy has to have cover story has to have a connection to Egghead. It was futuristic, had a numbered robot similar to Vegapunk, and had a Navy base G5 near it. Also, X-Drake, who has a sword member, showed up. No, I think that was just that was Kaido's favorite winter island, right? There's multiple islands with like robots and shit. AJK, I'm hearing you, but it's just like AJK is saying, why would Dragon, Revolutionaries, and Vegapunk all work together? I'm hearing you, but like, think how dumb Luffy is, right? Sophelia Majestic says he made a robot to see what would happen if she ate a devil fruit. Not my real theory. It's possible. Why do I keep seeing this? Luffy should say the palm of the sun in the palm of my hand. That doesn't even make sense. Maybe the real Vegapunk... Okay, Haynes is saying maybe the real Vegapunk is dead and they transfer their conscience to various bodies. He uses the old man body to speak to the world government. That's possible. They transfer their conscience to various bodies. He uses the old man body to speak to the world government. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Calling it now, Vegapunk is the entire island. Wait, one sec. Let me... I gotta message one thing real quick before I forget. Captain Karn says he's a perv with making the cyborg, but like the shark, can't get rid of the natural inclination for women to refuse his advances. That'd be really funny. Balsam Fur says the island has some big eggs. Will we get Big Bird? I want to meet... Wait, the island has some big eggs. Wait a second. Big eggs? Roger's egg? Is this going to solve where Roger's egg is from? Is it literally just from Egg Island? And it's something being created from Egg Island? Wait. What if Vegapunk came out of the egg? Alexander Cazares, welcome to the Yonko, top tier. Thank you. I want to meet Big News Morgans' mom. Yeah, what? Who was in the egg? Was it Vegapunk? Was it Big News Morgans? Who knows? Chaos Learlin says, could Vegapunk's O2 bot / cyborg be made immorally like Hogback Sindri? Might explain the chopper focus. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Call back to that arc. I mean, we know that like so much of Wano would end up being stemming a lot from like there's a lot of tiebacks between Thriller Bark and Wano, obviously. So like this is just one arc post Wano. Wonder if the influence is still there. Caleb Brown, glad to see you joining the Yonko. Thank you. Where are we at? A Abazi says Vegapunk is from the past, and I haven't seen this name in a bit. You're a longtime patron, right? Vegapunk is from the past and got sent forward in time by Toki's fruit. The ancient kingdom probably was way more advanced and knowledge was lost. Yeah, I do believe that. I do subscribe to theories like that. Because, I mean, we know that the ancient kingdom was more advanced, right? That's why they had ancient weapons back then, like Pluton, which they haven't been able to replicate today. The weapon that Im used is also very possibly Uranus, which again, from the ancient kingdom. Or it was Im himself, we don't know. Akash Panda says, Vegapunk ate the human fruit model woman. That'd be funny, but I don't think that there's a fruit for each gender, right? Like, the dragon fruit model woman, model female or whatever. Landizo Siogren says, Bonnie is actually old but uses her younger form. Vegapunk is actually old but uses her younger self as the main body. Maybe that's a hint that they're sisters or some shit. Yeah, maybe there's some connection, obviously, because they're being, not, I don't know if relative connection or whatever, but there might be some, like, similarities that Oda's playing up this arc or something like that. Bingle D Oops upgraded their membership to Yonko. Yeah, good shit. The Yonko tier is where it's at. I'll just say that. Snap says, can you rate G14 base out of 10? 10 out of 10? It's a cool base. I like Doll. Doll's a cool design. You don't see Marines like that, right? I mean, it's hard to rate the Marine bases. They're all kind of just Marine bases. Abazi says yes. Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, Koopy Coop says Morj, miss super chat. From who? From who? Who? From Dr. Farewell. The girl. Thanks, Koopy Coop. The girl is Sora, the Marine Sea Warrior. It was said that Sora. Wait, what? That Sora was accompanied by transforming Mecha and was an enemy of Germa. Wait, what? Whoa, 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 whoa! That is a great, great, great call. Whoa, I love that. Oh my god, I love it. Because the Germa, Vegapunk and the Germa, that's actually like a, you know, a contentious relationship from what I recall. Yo, that is great. I love it. I love it. And Sora works for the world government. Germa doesn't. Ergo, Sora is the heroic warrior of the sea, whereas Germa is the bad guys. I love that. Oh my god. Dr. Farewell. I love it. Great, great, great idea. Everyone shouts to Dr. Farewell. I can't believe I missed that super. Also, what's funny, okay, Koopy Coop reminded me of that super, and Koopy Coop never does mod stuff, but I think it's because recently Koopy Coop messaged me about something, and I told him to his face that, hey, I don't consider you a real mod. So I think, and he was like, ouch. So I think that he's trying to overcompensate and do mod things, like catch me up on super chats now. Is this correct? Am I right, Koopy Coop? I think I'm right. Jordan Taylor says the Germans. I used to say Germa, and then everyone told me it's wrong. They said it's Germa. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's Germa. Wouldn't that be pronounced Germa? But everyone says it's Germa. I don't know. The Sora idea is really, really cool. I love it because it's actually just heavy foreshadowing of It's foreshadowing of Vegapunk right there, right? Germa, the evil army, used to fight Sora. The, you know, like Vegapunk versus Germa, you know, I like it. Love it. Koopy Coop says I do mod stuff. Yeah, okay. Okay, wait, let me ask this real quick. So with the red eyes thing, okay, you guys see the Morj emoji with the red eyes, right? You guys see that emoji? The red eyes emoji. Do we like the blue background for that, or do we want it to be no blue background? Speak now. Let me. Somebody spam it, please. Morj doesn't understand English. No, it's just GE. Like gun. I don't know. It's just. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I get it's based off of Germany, but it's not called Germany. It's Germa. It's different. It is different. Okay, hold on. People don't like the background. No blue. Okay, I'll make a note. I'll make a note of that. No blue background. All right, I hear you. No blue background. Yeah. Background is cringe. Yeah. It's just that for some of the other ones, the background was needed because it was hard to see otherwise. Yeah, we won't do the blue. I got you. Yeah, no blue. Mystery Soup says more blue. All right. Green background. Yeah, I think we're going the wrong direction now. Yeah, we'll do no blue. No blue. Well, how do we feel about this one? Hold on, let me put some of the other ones in. Okay, so this one has no background. Some of them just need the background, otherwise they don't stand out. Others don't. It's a mix. It's definitely a mix. I think, like, Angry Zoro... I don't know. We could try Angry Zoro without the background. I think Sad Moria needs the background. Connor Thermos is all blue. The all blue for Sanji's dreams is Whisper Wood. The anime says it's like Germany. Okay, I guess I'm just wrong on that one. Professor Clover says, give us just a blue square emote, you coward. What would you even use it for? Okay, let's get it to 1,000 likes just because we're surprisingly close for no reason. We're actually almost at 1,000 likes. I don't know why. No background for Sleeping Zoro. Okay, yeah, we can consider that. No background for Sleeping Zoro. Avery McGurk says, "What if Vegapunk is from the future, but from the bad time that Oda mentioned in those future Straw Hat SBS?" So I don't know if Oda wants to play with like time stuff, right? So it felt important to me that Oda pointed out with Toki that, hey, I'm not gonna mess with, like, you can't go back in time, right? So if Vegapunk's from the future, that means she must have gone back in time or something like that. Time travel, it's always just like that extra added thing that really messes with the story, right? Like, it's, unless you've got an actual sci-fi story based around time travel, I personally prefer that stories stay out of it. Because once you're messing with time travel in your story, it like just flips how you view the whole narrative and like what you're reading, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Or it's got a lot of potential to just make a lot of things feel like they don't matter, or like, just get a little too out there. Simple reason being that, like, we as human beings don't understand time travel, right? How it works, right? So when you're following a story, once it starts introducing stuff like that that's literally outside of our understanding, it frames the whole thing in a very, it sets things up to be more complicated than it needs to be. And I think the biggest thing for me is that it can often feel as though like events in the story don't matter. Time is reversed. Events in the story don't matter. Things like that. Like it just minimizes a lot of the actual, like, it takes me out of the story to a degree, personally. Cam says cough cough, endgame cough cough. It depends with Marvel, because Marvel's always been very sci-fi, like it's always leaned into that, whereas One Piece, obviously it has sci-fi elements like advanced weaponry and things like that, but like, one, I didn't like Endgame personally. That's not to be, like, I really liked Infinity War. I didn't like Endgame, and I personally didn't like the way that they used time travel in that movie. But I feel like because it's Marvel, and like, in the first place, Marvel movies, I'm not too invested in like the stories that often, right? Like, it's kind of like anything goes with Marvel. Whereas One Piece, I am very much invested in, the world and like the sense of the world that it's created. It's more classic fantasy than anything else, with a blend of like, it's got like robots and cool shit like that, but it doesn't usually stray into sci-fi ideas like alternate universes or like multiple realities or multiple timelines and things like that, right? So I'd prefer, if I'm reading a classical fan, like, it's the same way I wouldn't want time travel in fucking Lord of the Rings, right? That's me personally. TY says One Punch Man. It's One Punch Man, though. It's One Punch Man. It's like, whatever. It's like fucking One Punch Man. Like, in theory, if you really think Saitama can do, like, anything or whatever, then, like, it kind of stands to reason that, like, some reality warping shit falls in there or something like that. I'm curious. People are saying, bro, this chapter is absolute fire. Says Monkey X Monkey. What do people like best out of the last 3 chapters? Because I was thinking, like, Oda usually, when he does his, does his 3 chapters in a row, takes a break, 3 chapters in a row, takes a break. I feel like he usually likes to make the last chapter the juiciest. He tries to aim for that because you want the big cliffhanger. But these last 3 chapters, I think I don't want to influence what I thought was the craziest one out of the last 3. But let me see out of you guys. This one, it's like really, really hard to top what we just got in 1060, right? So Oda didn't necessarily top it. He just gave us a reveal that's like so out, like Vegapunk out of nowhere, so out of left field that it's just like, damn, we're getting that now. Like, it's just so interesting on itself that maybe doesn't necessarily top last chapter, but it's just like one of the few things in the story that could follow that up and still be like just as, if not more, surprising, if that makes sense. Let's do a quick poll. Favorite chapter out of the last 3. 10, what are we at? 1059 and 60. $10.60 with the overwhelming favorite. Yeah, I think I got 1060 as well. I think 1059 was really cool too, though. It's hard to say. They were all really, really good. Really, really good. People are saying that like, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. Im chapter clears. 1059 set the hype these 3 weeks. Yeah, I really, really like 1059. 1059 was a lot of fun to read. Tase's pull time limit is way too fast. Sorry, I'll keep it up a little longer next time. It's just that usually, like, people think about it before I'm putting it. Like, most of the votes usually happen, like, right away, you know? Alexander Cazares says, this chapter is fire. I love the interaction between Bonnie and Luffy. Yeah, I just love whenever the Straw... I think I really, really like stuff that shows Straw Hat awareness of the outside world, but it's just, like, from there... Because, like, we're so invested, we, the reader, are so invested in the broader world. Like, the Admirals, the Yonko crews, right? Holy Knights, CP0, revolutionaries, different supernovas. Like, we're very invested. Like, we view the world as this very intricate place. But the Straw Hats view everything through, like, this tiny little, like little bubble, if that makes sense. Like, they're not as concerned with stuff. So it's always fun when we get to see their level of awareness and, like, them actually acknowledging or thinking about, you know, their standing in the world, or, like, what's their relationship or dynamic to somebody else based on what status that person has in the world. So Luffy's like, oh, you're also from the worst generation or whatever. It's like, who gives a fuck? Like, Luffy's a Yonko at this point. Like, body's so far behind. Pina says, this was my favorite chapter this year because I love sharks. Okay, that's cool. My favorite chapter this year because I love sharks. All right, that's cool. Didn't expect that. All right, y'all. I'm probably going to call the stream in the next few minutes just because I've got to get back to writing this fucking Wano video, and it's very, very long. So, thanks everybody for joining in. Parvision, what's up? Ender Yanami says, we hit 1K likes, Bollywood dance time. Yeah, that's definitely what was promised. Definitely what was promised. Parvision says, I love sharks too. Parvision says, I drew a shark on stream. All right, that's enough. We don't care about the sharks anymore at this point. Jinbei is a shark. Yeah, is Jinbei your favorite character then, you shark lovers or whatever? Jinbei isn't even like a real shark. He's just a whale shark. He's not a cool shark. Aren't whale sharks like... aren't whale sharks like the lamest of all sharks, right? I think there's almost no denying. Let me show you guys something. Right? I feel like it's pretty much undeniable. Like, are these not the lamest of all sharks? They barely classify as a shark. They're more whale than shark. Right? Come on now. Like, the strongest fishman in the world is just, it's this thing. I just don't know. Why is this... What is this? Why... What is this? What is... You guys seeing this? Is this for real? Jinbei would give some great head, right? What is that? Oh man, that's what Jinbei's based off of. More reasons to not love Jinbei. Am I right? Pina says, I love whale sharks, but Robin is my favorite Straw Hat because I love women. All right, cool. Then you must have really loved this chapter, right? You got sharks, you got women, right? Whatever. All right, are we good to go? We good to go?